tonight. Hey, as you all are joining, give me a hey, hi, let me know where you're joining from, how you're feeling today. So, today, interesting topic on landing a new role after a layoff as a woman of color. Um, we're all aware layoffs are happening even more. I'm noticing layoffs are happening in places we never anticipated, like government. We typically don't see layoffs in government. We're seeing more and more layoffs in IT. So, what I would call is like more of these secure industries, we're starting to see layoffs. And I'm saying that up front. If you know anyone who is in one of these industries being affected by layoffs or anticipated layoffs, please share this with them. Reach out to them on your own, make sure they're okay, see how they're feeling, but also share this information out. I'm going to be giving some valuable information today. I'm also going to be answering any questions that you all may have, but definitely feel free to tag someone in the comment, share this out. There's a lot going on in the world right now, and we need to be prepared. So even if you're like, oh no, Latrice, my company, my industry doesn't do layoffs, I highly advise for you to tune in and watch this, right? If you're catching the replay, hey, hashtag replay, my replay people, same thing. Add your comments. I'm going to be coming back, reading comments and responding. But this is just such a timely topic. I literally logged in to LinkedIn just a few minutes ago, and the first thing I saw is that Meta maybe is anticipating layoffs, right? So I highly recommend making sure that people are emotionally prepared for changes and what's to come. All right. So, in saying that, that's my little like warning. Be prepared for changes to come. And hey, welcome. Be sure to share this out. Right? If you are new to me, new to my channel, new to my network, welcome. I am Latrice Huff, career and leadership coach and personal branding expert for women of color in corporate and in business. I'm helping people with their businesses because as you are laying, as people are getting laid off, I highly recommend starting a business. We're going to talk about that too. It is my mission and my movement to put more women of color in leadership roles and in positions of power. When we lead, we change the world. We make things better. We invest in our community. We invest in ourselves. We help other people. So we need more women of color in leadership roles, even if that's an individual contributor. And with everything going on today, you need to know how to, these tips that I'm giving you all, you're going to need to know this. Okay. Other people are going to need to know this. Right. Um, hey, Nana. I think she says my whole PMO was laid off last Friday. I'm so sorry to hear that. Thank you. Be sure to share this out. Tag people who need to hear this. I'm going to be giving practical steps and we're going to be talking about mindset and ways to think as well. Let me know who this is. It's just saying hi, Latrice. So let me know because on my system, it's not showing me the name. But I'd like to share with you. I'll give you all shout outs. Let you know that I see you and I hear you. So just let me know. Let me know who's watching, whose name it is. Here, we're going to get right into it. Let me say this before I get into these tips. We're having a conversation, right? So I want you all comment. Feel free to comment. I'm eventually going to figure out like how to bring people on too. But feel free to say your comments. If something I say resonates with you, feel free to share it out. Tag me. Tag someone else. Let's make this a conversation, okay? I'm also going to say this. There's a lot going on right now in the world. I want you all to be prepared. Okay. We don't want to always be on edge, but we can be prepared without being on edge. So let's say that you need to be prepared again, because I'm seeing industries that are not typically affected by layoffs. People are getting laid off. Okay. Also, let me start by saying this. I have a free career planning guide for you all. So if you put 2025 in the comments, I'll send you all the links so you can sign up for my career planning guide. And then once you're on my email list, I'm also having some free workshops coming up for you all. Some on like personal branding. I have things on manifestation. and getting in increasing your salary, starting businesses that I'm gonna share with you all. I've really been inspired by like this Hillman TikTok, so we're gonna make sure that I'm giving you all actionable and practical advice that you can learn from and use and utilize what's going on right now in the world. Oh, hey Angela, that hasn't fixed up. No worries, it could be my system too, because sometimes it doesn't always allow me to see people. All right, so we're gonna get started. As you all have questions, comments, put them in. But if you have not already, go ahead and put the 2025 in the comments so I can go ahead and send you all that career planning guide. All right, as we're getting started, this is my first tip. Understand if you have just been laid off or just notified that you're going to be laid off, and Nana, if it was last Friday, that's still very new. And I know this is going to sound counterproductive, but my first tip is to allow yourself to grieve. Trust me, I have seen it when people go from, oh, I just got laid off, I'm going to update my resume. Your energy, your mind, things are not in a space for you to like create. It what needs to happen at this night, take a beat. I am not saying wait 2 months or 2 years. No, 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 no. But you can take 2 days, grieve what was lost. You lost something by no fault of your own. Usually, when there is a layoff, and I have been just being in HR, I've had to be the person before to talk to people who are being laid off. 99% of the time, the layoff has nothing to do with you. It's usually senior leadership's fault. But it also could be the economy, it could be politics, it could be tariffs, it could be a lot of things and a lot of reasons that led to the layoff. 99% of the time, it's no fault of your own. So that comes as a shock, right? And we need time to grieve. Oh, Nana says, I've been blessed. We're giving till April 8th. Yeah, so that's enough time for you to definitely grieve and kind of be like, okay, I'm understanding that I lost something. And thank you for putting 2025. We're gonna get you the link to the career planning guide, right? But that gives you some time. I highly recommend this being the first thing that you do. It's gonna be against your instinct. Your instinct is gonna be like, hold it in, show that I'm strong. They didn't get the best of me. No, you lost something. It is okay to grieve what you thought once would be, right? Or something you thought would be long term. That is perfectly okay. Even I've seen people like get amazing severance packages, amazing, and they're like, I'm not signing this. I want time, and like sometimes the anger, the resentment will prevent us from seeing my next lesson, the lessons and the blessings. Okay. So one, take that time to grieve. And then I do my next tip. I want you to take some time and identify the lessons and the blessings that have happened in that company in that role. Meaning, if you worked out like a bandit and you get in severance for like 6 months, that's that's a blessing. I've worked with people who they were like, no, you get no severance, right? Think about the lessons and the blessings. This will also help prepare you for your next role. All right. So many times people go from, I say, from bad to worse because they don't stop in one grieve and they don't stop and identify the lessons and the blessings in what just happened. If you like, I need money, I need to go from this to the next, what typically happens 9 times out of 10 is you go into the same place, just a different job. There's just a different employer, but it's the same type of place and the same thing happens. And I've seen this, and people are like, Latrice, I've had a 20-year career. I've never gotten laid off, but in the last 3 years, I've been laid off twice. And it's typically because they didn't stop and recognize the lessons and the blessings, and they just jumped right into the same thing. And I've been through this so many times with my clients that now I see the patterns and the trends. So now when someone comes to me, especially my women of color, you guys, I'm always like, pause, it's okay to grieve. Like people come to me and I'm like, it is okay. And it's like a sense of release and they start crying. I'm like, it is okay to grieve. And once that is out, then we can see the lessons in the and the blessings. The lesson could have been, next time I'm gonna research this company more. The lesson could have been, okay, now I'm gonna be looking on the internet and looking at it's a particular site that'll tell you when companies are laying off ahead of time. All right. So you all will you just think about those lessons and blessings and literally write them down. Like, take the time, take the energy. You're gonna realize, like, oh, you know what? My boss wasn't the best for me. This role wasn't the best for me. They were underpaying me anyway. Like, I've just spoken to so many people that once we go through this process, and I'm like, what lessons did you learn from this? What were the blessings in this? Right. And then the next role that they get is their lifelong role, and they are truly blessed. More money, better boss, stable company, and stable energy industry, because they took the time to identify those lessons that they learned and the blessings that they were given. All right. Hey, Sarita, thank you for joining. I want to give everybody a shout out. Thank you, my YouTube people, for joining and commenting and watching. I love hearing from my YouTube people. All right. So think about that, right? And this is part of what I teach is how to overcome a toxic workplace or workplace trauma. And if you've been let go and if you've been laid off, you've suffered some sort of trauma. I've even seen people, what I will call, I am not a therapist, so I cannot diagnose, but what I have witnessed be some sort of post-traumatic stress syndrome from working in these places. Right. And I'm like, could that be the blessing that you are no longer in this place that you hate? How can you take the time to overcome and recognize that maybe this was a toxic workplace and you shouldn't have been here? How can you recognize that having something end abruptly by no fault of your own can cause some sort of trauma? And you guys, I have worked with women who have worked for the same company for 20 years. They come in one day and that company has just laid them off. And we'll be like, hey, effective today, like, do not come in here. Like tomorrow, they're getting severance, but they're like, your day ends right now. And they're walking them out of the building when these people have dedicated 20 years to the growth, to the health of that company and culture. That is shocking. That's traumatic. And you have to give yourself space and capacity. Even though the instinct is like, I'm about to get a new job. I'm about to update my resume. I'm going to put something on LinkedIn. Take a beat, because things created from that energy are not effective. Take a beat. I know it sounds counterproductive, but take a beat. All right. Go through this process. And you can go through this process in a matter of days. I'm not saying it's going to take weeks and weeks and weeks. You can go through this process in a weekend if you allow yourself to, right? But it does take being vulnerable. It does take admitting that you're hurt, that you're upset. It's okay to have these emotions, especially for women of color, because we are so freaking loyal. And a lot of times I see my people and they just don't see this coming. And so it's such a shock. And they're staying in the cycle of shock. And I can't believe this. And they're angry and upset. And I'm like, we have to grieve. We have to look at the lessons and the blessings. And then we're going to move on to something better. All right. So once we do that, this is my third tip. You have to take inventory now of what you have, who you are, and what you have. I'm going to get into this more, but I always say, sis, your value has not gone anywhere. You still have value. All right. This layoff does not impact your career drastically. I've had people be like, I'm never going to get a new job again. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. And you have to know this going in. Just as much as companies are laying off, millions of roles are out there. Millions of companies are still hiring. I understand we're being bombarded with all these things of like all these layoffs, but companies are still hiring. I can tell you all, let me tell you, January and February has been a hot month for my clients. Y'all, I didn't even have time to put up all the case studies. It's been rocking so much. Like, we've been rocking. All right. January and February has been hot. Companies are interviewing, they are hiring, they are making moves. Even with all the things going on in politics, people kind of have been planning for this. So the same way some industries are falling back, they're laying off, they're downsizing, you're seeing other industries grow. You're seeing other roles, other industries grow. Okay. So let's take note of that. So you have to understand and take inventory of what you have. One of the things I highly recommend, and I call it the 25 reasons why. I need you to come up with 25 reasons why you're valuable to any company. I tell my clients, like, whatever your ideal role is and ideal salary, that's what you put in. 25 reasons why I would be an amazing HR director earning 200K. And then you literally come out with 25 reasons. You're forcing your brain to see, what do you still have? You still have your education. You still have your experience. You're an expert. You still, all these projects that you did, write those out. And from that list with my clients, what we do, we pull their hero stories, we start pulling their branding, we start pulling out ways that we're gonna like answer the interview questions. We work it. But I do nothing until they give me those 25 reasons, because they need to know how valuable they are and you need to know. So you have to take the inventory. This will help you even write your resume. I've seen people get laid off, and I've had somebody tell me, she was like, I'm working on my resume. I'm going to work with you after I work on my resume. I'm like, sis, did you go through this process? Did you understand the lessons and the blessings? Did you take inventory? They're like, no. I'm like, what you writing on your resume? I see the resume and it's nothing but task and actions. I was like, you can't even see how brilliant and amazing you are, because right now you have this grief and this anger, rightfully so. Once we start processing that, then you can see, oh yeah, I did save this company $1 million. Let me tell y'all something. It has it is rare that I work with a woman, a Black woman, Hispanic woman, Asian woman, any woman of color, and she don't tell me at some point how she helped generate, save, prevent the loss of around 500,000 to $1 million in any particular company. And then I'll say, oh, is this on your resume? And they're like, no, Latrice, that's not on my resume. And I'm like, why? They like, I don't know how to say that. Write down, take this inventory. Think about it. What projects did you do? What things did you get praised on? What things did you not get praised on, but you were proud of? Literally make this list. This is a very important step. This will help you with your resume. It will help you with these interviews. It will help you with your hero stories. It will help you with your LinkedIn. It will help you with networking. Most of all, it will help you with your confidence and see how valuable you are. Do not skip this step. All right. Then what I'm giving you all is a process that people pay me thousands of dollars for. So you can let it go if you want, or you can do it. All right. He says LinkedIn is an effective place to look. Is LinkedIn an effective place to look for work? I've been on LinkedIn since 2006, and I'm yet to gain employment through this platform. Absolutely. So if you're on the platform and you just have a profile, Nana, then it may not work for you. Your profile does need to be optimized, and you need to work it. Right. So this is, again, when we talk about the 25 reasons why, I'm going to also get to like personal branding and articulating your value. I'm going to talk more about that. This is then where you put it on there. If you get a template from online or you just start filling in the things on LinkedIn, it's not going to have the effectiveness that you want. You have to do some of this back end work, then work on LinkedIn, and you'll see how it works for you. Because so most of my clients, we find six-figure to multiple six-figure roles. 90% of them find their roles on LinkedIn and have gotten them. So I have clients that are making 300,000. They got their role from LinkedIn. And it's not always posted. Okay. Like, recruiters are coming to them. I have a client, she just got a $150,000 role from LinkedIn. I had another client, she was laid off for 13 months. She was out of work for 13 months. We got her branding straight. We revised her LinkedIn. She had the role come to her. It was a recruiter for a Fortune 500 company. She had about 4 interviews with the company. This recruiter put her through for multiple roles in the company. She never applied first. These roles weren't even posted. The recruiter came to her. She's a $250,000 role as an individual contributor. So yes, LinkedIn works. LinkedIn is the place to build relationships, to build your brand. If you're just on LinkedIn right now and you are and you're just consuming, I would say let's play the game. We got to get off the bench, get in the game. It is effective. Also, right now, what I'm finding, you guys, in-person networking is effective. This is 2025, so we're 5 years out from COVID, right? The world is opening up. People back on these streets. We're out of our houses now. So that's the other way that I'm seeing gain a lot of momentum is these in-person events. Conference. I had a client get $180,000 role from a conference. Black MBA. Black, I want to say it's like the Black MBA Association or something like that. They're always having these amazing conferences, tech conferences. I think I want to say it's like Black and Tech or something like that. Look for industry specific events and conferences, even if they're not going to have vendors or employers. Usually they do, but the mere fact of networking, I've had people get high six figure and multiple six figure roles that way. All right. So right now, those are the top two ways I'm seeing my clients get roles after a layoff. And what the commonality is personal branding and relationship building. Okay. So I'm going to go into that. But this is why, please do your 25 reasons why first. Trust me, the first 10 you'll get. When you get to 11, 12, 13, 14, don't do this by yourself. Call a friend. Hop on the call with the coach, a former coworker, somebody who knows you, who can refresh your memory. Look through your past performance reviews, right? But it's important that you get to that number 25. All right. And he says, always blessed to learn in your event, Latrice. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate the support in the comments, you guys. So keep coming with the questions. I can, if you want, Nana, I may even do one on like how to use LinkedIn, some of the things that I recommend my clients do, what I've seen work, especially in 2024 and 2025. 2025 rolled in hot for my clients. Even with all this D&I talk and all this, let me tell you, my clients were not they were not getting jobs because of DEI anyway, so it has not drastically impact my clients getting interviews and offers. If anything, they're hotter than ever because I'm teaching them, and we're specializing in personal branding. And my fifth tip, articulating their value. Oh, wait a minute. Y'all, okay, wait a minute. We was on 3. Let me go to 4, and then we're gonna get to 5. Number 4 is use this time to rebrand yourself in 2025. This is the time to rebrand. What do you want to be known for? And trust me, I've saw someone talk about like the pros and cons of personal branding. And to me, I was like, okay, I understand what you're saying, but she was using personal branding in the complete wrong way. Personal branding is not just posting on LinkedIn. Personal branding is what people say about you when you're not in the room. But here's the trick. You get to create that narrative so that you know exactly what they're saying about you when you're not in the room because you fed it to them. And what I have found is that Black women and women of color, they come to me and you are like, I don't think I have a brand. Sis, you do have a brand. You're just letting somebody else dictate it. If you're sitting there and you working and you're like, I'm doing my work, I can't believe they laid me off. Your brand could be worker bee. If you're like everybody else is like going to happy hour and I'm cleaning up and I'm doing this, your brand could be Mama B. But you want your brand to be Queen B, right? So think about it. You have a brand. If it is not the brand that you want, this we're still early in the year, it's 2025, you just been laid off. Guess what? This is the perfect time to rebrand yourself. The perfect time to think about a career change. The perfect time to really look at what else do you love to do? What do you want to be known for? Not the brand somebody else is giving you. What brand do you want to have? This is the perfect time. I highly, highly recommend using this time during a layoff, getting to know yourself. Who do you want to be? How do you want to define yourself? And you can teach people how to treat you. You can teach people how to talk about you. That is your brand. Your brand is your reputation. Your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. But how I honestly tell my clients is your brand is your gifts and who you are at your core. And when you think about that, you get to dictate it. Because I've seen people have a brand and they're thinking like, oh, I'm working twice as hard for half as much. And so they're going to eventually see this and promote me. No, sis. They look at you as you're just a worker bee and they can just replace you with another worker bee. How can you position yourself as indispensable? You're irreplaceable. Nobody has your combination of gifts and skill set and expertise. How can you do that? This is why personal branding is so important. This is why. And right now, I always advise people, yes, build your brand inside your company. Be able to talk to the boss, articulate your value, talk about the projects that you're working on. But in 2025, right now, what's going on? You also need to be building your brand externally. Meaning, even if you're not laid off, I would still be going to networking events and talking to people. Even if you're thinking like, hey, my industry isn't laying off, we're stable, my company's great. But they sent out a memo saying these things won't affect us. I would be right on LinkedIn reconnecting with my connections, expanding my network, building my presence. And it doesn't mean, again, you have to post every day, but can you have virtual coffees with people? Can you start to have conversations with the people you work with and see how they see you now? And then you get to decide if that's the brand you want. And if it's not, you can change it. You can change it. I'll share this. I had a brain. I've always talked, right? Okay. So I was in HR. I'm always like the one that was like talking, friendly, nice. This was, okay, I'm in my 40s now. Imagine me in my 20s. I was like, right? Like even more energy, right? And I remember one time my boss was like, oh, you're talking to people, the executive director, he doesn't really like that. He likes people to be at their desk. And so I went home and I thought about it and I was like, I just learned about branding too. And I was like, that's not what I want. So I came back to him and I was like, hey, I'm not a desk HR person. I was like, I am solving problems before they appear. I was like, I don't put out fires, I prevent them. Like I wanted that to be my brand. And I was like, hey, I'm strategic but friendly. So people come to me with their problems. And then that started happening. So I remember, so this is what happened. They went from dictating my brand, like, oh, Latrice isn't working. She's just talking to people, to me communicating, oh no, I'm solving problems. I'm building relationships. I'm building trust, you guys, to being like, okay, Latrice is strategic. I created these initiatives. The managers were coming to me before they would come to anyone else. They were singing my praises in emails. I started on my own going to the different locations and being like, I want to work where my business units are working. To the point where they were like, Latrice, this is amazing. We want everybody else in HR to do this. They were like, how can you teach other people to do this? But I took something that people were like, oh, she's just talking. She's just talking to people. I was like, no, I'm solving problems. I'm building relationships. I'm being trustworthy. They were telling me things they weren't telling anybody else. So it was that I was able to solve problems and prevent fires. How can you rebrand yourself? Think about that. How can you rebrand yourself? This is the perfect time. It's the beginning of the year. It's 2025. Even if you've just found out you've been you're getting laid off, but you're still at that company, I'd still be working on my rebrand. I want to see, how do they think about me now that led to this? Okay, then I need a rebrand. You are really, really heed this. This is a warning and an amazing, valuable tip. Start thinking about your rebrand in 2025. Start thinking about it. Thank you, Nana. She says, I really, I would appreciate that very much. Yes. If it, as I'm going through, if I'm saying anything and you were like, hey, Latrice, we really like to learn more about that, put it in the comments. I love to hear other topics that you all want to know about. This topic came up because so many people were asking me about it. So many people, unfortunately, were like, Latrice, I just got laid off, or Latrice, I'm being laid off, or like, Latrice, I work for the government and I think I'm going to be laid off, right? Like, and sometimes these layoffs are happening and people have never been laid off in their life and we don't know what to expect or how to get back on the horse, right? But there is life after layoff. And I can tell you all, I have one more tip. But after my clients go through this process and we work together through this process, they find a role even better than before. Even better. Whereas this, I've seen people, and there's nothing wrong with doing things on your own. Let me just say that. Now is not the time. I would not recommend people being like, I'm gonna go solo. No, 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 no. Get support, whether it's from a coach, a mentor, a friend, a colleague, a coworker, a community, a tribe. It is imperative right now that you are supported, that you get poured into. But when they don't, I see them go from one place to the next, or they're in this layoff cycle. And I'm going to say these next two things because I've seen people get in a cycle of layoffs. They stable employment for 20 years. They get one layoff. It impacts their confidence. It impacts how they show up. It impacts their brand. And now they're in this cycle of laying off. The next cycle I see is people getting stuck in the interview phase. I've literally seen people get stuck in the interview phase for years. They've gotten laid off, and because they didn't deal with the grief, the blessings, the lessons, they're in an interview and they're just thinking about how long they've been unemployed. What if they ask me a question about what I've been doing? All these things. They can't even focus on the interview questions. They can't articulate their own value, and they don't get the offer, but they have experience, so they get the interviews. And I've talked about this before on the lives about getting stuck in the interview phase. I've seen this with my clients where I'm like, when I see people get stuck in the interview phase, to be honest, I know it's a mindset issue and it's an issue on them not knowing how to articulate their value. It's their confidence and not being able to articulate their value. So my fifth tip, you need to know how to articulate your value. I teach my clients a specific method. We do hero stories, which is the stories that align with your brand. You have this rebrand, we create hero stories to align with the brand. And then I help them master the tier method, which is a specific method of storytelling that works amazingly for women of color that helps you articulate your value and ace that interview. The STAR method don't work for women of color. I'm gonna just be honest. And the STAR method definitely doesn't work when you are dealing with the trauma and the drama and the emotions of being laid off. Okay. So if you're like, I'm sitting here, I'm trying to master the STAR method, don't even worry about that. It rarely works for women of color. And I'm just being honest. From somebody who has worked with thousands of women of color, that rarely works. And when you try to master something that wasn't designed for you and does not work for you, you get stuck in a loop. All right. Are any of you all stuck in an interview loop? Let me know if you're like, I've been getting interviews, but no offers. The challenge could be, are you properly articulating your value? You need to know how to speak about your stories. You need to know how to speak on your brand. People think personal branding and they're like, oh, I'm just going to write this statement on my LinkedIn. I'm just going to update my resume. That's a part of it, but your brand is who you are, how you show up, what you say, your energy, and your confidence. And I've seen this. If your resume is saying, like, okay, I've saved this company $10 million in 6 months, but then they come in person and you're like, well, I created a spreadsheet. And they're like, can you tell me about this? And you're like, I created a spreadsheet and I went through this and I looked at reports. No, sis, you strategize, you analyze, you manage these projects. You have to know how to articulate your value and confidently tell that story. A lot this is the piece where I see people get stuck in this interview cycle and then the frustration kicks in all over again. People are getting discouraged, the emotions, and people just want to give up. And they're like, Latrice, I'm taking a break. This isn't the time. This is the time to work on yourself, overcome that grief, understand the lessons and the blessings, but you also need to do that external work, which is knowing how to articulate your value, knowing how to speak about yourself, what you've done and your accomplishments in these interviews. And what we're not doing is the we's. We. If you came up with an idea, then it's yours. It's okay to share about how you didn't implement it yourself. That's okay. That's okay. But you also have to take credit for your ideas and your accomplishments. All right. Oh, Angela says, this is Angela. Everybody always pushes the STAR method. I understand that, but the STAR method, and for all of you all listening, is the situation, task, action, results. The reason it doesn't work well for women of color is because we get so caught up in the situation, the task, and the actions that we did, we don't talk about the results. We just phase it off. And now we done spent 15 minutes answering a 5 minute question, right? Talking about the actions, all these major details that is positioning you as a worker bee instead of a strategic innovator, instead of a high level individual contributor, instead of someone who stands out and has a unique way of solving problems. And what you've just done is made yourself, again, a worker bee, and anybody can do the work, right? So the tier method that I teach my clients is give a teaser, expand. So we're telling the results up front. Then we're expanding on the problem. What would have happened had you not done this? And a lot of times we don't ask ourselves that question. Like this situation could have been a lot worse. Right? Then we talk about the actions and then we talk about the results again. Right? And I help my clients, we practice this, we master this to the point where they're confident. I had I did like a client like meet and greet online, and people got to meet my clients and hear them speak. And one of my clients was like, she's like, I got my hero stories and that tier method down packed. She was like, I can run it to you right now. Yes. And she got a $60,000 increase in just a matter, I want to say it was like 2 months. This is an important step, because what people tend to do is we want to keep doing what we've always done. But remember, you want something different, right, sis? So then we need to try something different. We need to try a new method. If the STAR method got you where you are and you don't like where you are, then we're going to try something different. If the STAR method is getting you less money and a lower salary, then we're going to try something new. We need to try an interview method that is going to help you articulate your value and show how you have contributed via a story and your brand using metrics, talking about the problem that is relevant to this company. This is the magic. This is where it happens. That's why we go through all these other steps first. Okay. Because by the end of this, you need to know how to articulate your value. And I have seen when people don't deal with the grief, don't deal with the emotions, when people ask them any question about that role that they were laid off at, they stall because they got other things going on in their mind. They stall. They don't properly answer the question. They stumble over their words. They forget what the question is. I've now had my clients like now I can listen to the interviews. Like I'm like, I want to hear exactly what you're saying. And I'm like, whoa, this is what's going on, right? So I can even see where they started, like trying to use this STAR method versus when I teach them how to master the tier method and really owning who they are and articulating their value and brand. And we work on articulating your value, understanding your personal brand, and clarifying the problem you solve. Right? When you can clearly tell a company what their problem is and how you solve that problem in a unique way, better, faster, quicker than the next person, you've just stood out amongst every other candidate. Then it's not a matter of qualifications, right? Because everybody's going to be qualified at this point. Now you're playing at a different level, right? So you have to understand this, right? So that's what the STAR method is. That's a way of interviewing that they teach a lot of people, which is that situation, task, action, results. If you Google anything, if you ask Chat GPT, they're going to give you some version of the STAR method. Okay. So great question. Thank you, Angela. Great question. Okay. So I got a bonus one for you all. After hear this, so my fifth tip, articulate your value, know that you do have value. Okay. Your value has not gone anywhere. Please do not question your value. I get this a lot. People get laid off and they question your value. Sis, your value has not gone anywhere. Can I say some people in the comments? I need to see like I have value. I have value. I have value. You need to know this. You need to tell yourself, you need to put it in writing. Okay. And if you all are just joining in, what we're doing is we're going over how to land a new role after a layoff as a woman of color. I also have a free career planning guide for you all. Just put 2025 in the comments and we'll send you the link to sign up for that free career planning guide for 2025. So whether you've just been laid off, you want a career change, or whether you're just chiming in because you want something new, you want to see what's going on, go ahead and put 2025 in the comments and we'll get you all that link. All right. And then I have one more bonus tip and we'll wrap it up. Because I always seem to be and to be led toward worker B with a role offered as a leadership. Or I've landed a great position. Or I've landed a great position with a title I can't use on my business card, so as not to offend someone else. One, we ain't worried about offending nobody else. Two, you can always change titles. All of these things, if you want to change a title on your business card, you can do that. Let this be you want a practical tip. You can change your titles on your resume. All right. Yes, you can change your title. But yes, if you're getting in these worker bee roles, when it was kind of positioned or promoted as a leadership role, I want you to think about, did you go in these interviews or even in the company really highlighting your worker status, and that's it. Like, I had people, sometimes people will come to me and I'm like, what do you want to be known for? They like the hard work. Whoa, whoa, whoa. If you want to be known for hard work, then we cannot be shocked when they work you hard. We cannot be shocked when that's what happens. It's okay to say, I want to be known as a problem solver. I want to be known as an innovator. I want to be known as the person who is the big picture thinker. That is okay to say that. Hard work is this narrative that has been drilled, I know, into my culture as an African American. And here's the thing: hard work is not the only way to success. You think about it. Is your boss a hard worker? Because I done seen some bosses that are not. Okay. So that's what I would say. Think about, did you, and I always say this: if you go into an interview selling hard work, they're gonna buy hard work. That's what they're going to buy. But if you can clearly articulate their problem and how you can solve it in a unique way, which is your brand, then that's what they're going to buy. Then they're going to want your strategy. Then they're going to want your expertise. Then they're going to see value besides, just the hard work. Then you're indispensable. All right. Let me know if this makes sense. Oh, I love this. I'm seeing all of these. I have value. I have value. Yes, Alex, I have value. Yes, Maxine. Yes. Sarita, yes. I was one who was laid off and was told to start and lay off, but I'm afraid that this morning my future career prospects. What do you suggest? I don't know about that. Let's see. I don't know. I would say there are so many opportunities and options out there. Do not let people limit you or anyone else to, this is the only thing you can do. We as women of color are amazing, are talented, are phenomenal. Do not let anyone put you in a box. Okay. That's what I would say. All right, Maxine 2025. I have value. Hey, Lourdes. I have value. Yes. Yes. Please know you all have value. Speak to you. Speak to yourself like you would a friend. Yes. Think about this. And I'm going to share this little piece of advice too. This is my little bonus tip. Have a standard line. If you know when people bring up certain things, you feel some type of way. Like if people are bringing up, what have you done since the layoff? Why did you leave this company? What happened here? Have some sort of standard response that takes the power away. I find that people fixate on, what if they ask me, why did I leave? And then I have to tell about the layoff. Have a standard response. I usually like to say something around corporate restructuring, right? Standard response, redirect and move on. Don't let a layoff have power over you, because you do have value and there is life after a layoff. There are so many blessings after a layoff, and you have so many options as well. There are so many options out here. Even though we're hearing all this stuff on the news, we're every time you open your phone, you're seeing something. Just know you could also look on Indeed and LinkedIn and see all these jobs. You can also go on LinkedIn and see all the people who are like, I just got a new role, I was just hired, I just got a promotion. Right? So there's still so many opportunities out there. I have too many value additions. Yes, I love it. Okay. If you all have any other questions, go ahead and start putting them in the comments. Y'all, I thought I would be on here 20 minutes. You all have been amazing. We've had so many people kind of join the conversation. I love this. feel free to share this out. This helps with my brand and it helps other women and other people get this information who need this after a layoff. So feel free to share it, tag it, give your commentary. If you all have any questions or if you just want to reach out to me privately, feel free to message me. And if you want to chat about your unique situation, I have two programs that I offer: my Fearless Branding Formula, which helps you build your personal brand, increase your salary by $20,000 to $50,000, landing that six-figure promotion. If you're interested in a higher level role or leadership for your business or in your company, then I have my Leadership Legacy program, which helps women of color land leadership roles and earn $200K without sacrificing their family time or personal freedom. And I tell people overall, if you want to work with me, my programs are designed to help you increase your salary or your revenue for your own business by helping you improve your personal brand. This is the skill that I teach, okay? And we've seen how powerful personal brand can be, especially in your job search. All right. So if you all have any other questions, you can put them in the comments or message me, and you all have a good night. Bye.